Hey there guys, this is Justin here with the WinBarClub, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be showing off some of the character models that are part of this amazing mod for Total War Attila. This is the Seven Kingdoms mod. Some of you may know it better if I called it the Game of Thrones mod for Total War Attila. And this is not single player as in single player campaign. You can do custom battles, but it is mainly a multiplayer mod. And it is trying to replicate the houses in the world of the Seven Kingdoms that you all know from the TV show. So the character models, especially on these main characters like Robb Stark, Jon Snow, and a whole plethora of others, is just amazing. It's awesome what this mod team's doing. Today we're going to be focusing specifically on the north. You guys can see here there's Dorne, the Iron Islands, the Reach, Riverlands, Stormlands, Westerlands, the Vale. So the factions are kind of divided based on location in the Seven Kingdoms, universe. And the north is a huge faction. We've got Hornwood Bannermen, Bolton, Glover, Karstark, Mormont, Stark, Umber, and that's it for them. But we're going to look through all of this. There's a lot of similarities, and soon I'm going to try to get you guys some actual multiplayer action in this mod, which you all can help with. I'd like to do some large battles in it, so if you're interested in that, the mod's easy to download. You can look it up. It's a fun mod, and leave a comment in the video and let me know. But otherwise, let's get right to it. First up, we're going to be taking a look at the characters and units that belong to the Stark household. As you guys saw, there are several different houses under the category the North, and so these units that I am showing you now are all specific to House Stark. And first off, we're going to look at the characters available to them. Now, the key thing to note, and this will be the same with the other factions, these characters, whether they are mounted or on foot, all have a large unit accompanying them. It's not like hero units in Total War Warhammer, so it's basically these characters can be the general of your force, and if you do not bring them as a general, you can bring them as just a standard unit. They are just extremely pricey because they've got these excellent guards for them. And who else would be in House Stark other than Eddard Stark himself? So there's the model for him. You guys can see they've done, within the limits of the game engine, a great job redoing his face. And as you will see, I mean, the detail that they put into this mod, into these units, is just insane. It's a great team working on this. Now, he's got this melee cavalry guard here. All of these guys look, they've got their swords, and they look like they're from the north. Not much color on them. These are hard men of winter. You can see the variation in the armor. Some of these guys have heavier shoulder guards and everything else. Now, the rest of these lords all have the same guard, so I'm not going to re-show that off. Right here is Robb Stark, and you can see the detail they put on his face. He's got this bear coat throw over his armor there, or it might even be a wolf pelt, some kind of animal pelt. And here, of course, is Jon Snow, and Jon Snow is also available as a character in the faction Beyond the Wall, which has the Night's Watch and the Wildlings. But they did an excellent job. He is definitely, to me, of these three lords that we've seen, the best character model. They did a great job putting the detail on his face for this game. And those of you who keep up with the TV show, they allow Davos Seaworth to be a commander for the Starks. And there he is. Of course, you can see he is not mounted, so he's his men here on foot. We've got some variation in shields. These cool, looks like tall wooden shields. Some of these guys have got these awesome metal shields with the wolf from House Stark engraved onto it, and just great detail once again on these units. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the low-tier infantry for House Stark. These guys are all called Winterfell levies, and they just are separated by weapon type. So right here, we have the crossbowmen, and you can see them there holding those crossbows. So these guys are your good, cheap, anti-armor ranged units. Then this is the Winterfell levies, the melee version, and these guys obviously are your close quarters troops with swords and axes. And you can see they've got a variation of weapons throughout here. These guys don't have super heavy armor, and yeah, they are one of the cheaper units. Over here we've got the spear variant. And again, these are the same units, just different types of weapons, which give them different skills. These guys are your cheap anti-cavalry and first line of defense units. And here are the javelins. And these guys here do have a shield. And it is, again, those awesome looking metal shields. I believe the whole unit on this group, yeah, all of them have these awesome Stark shields. And then here are the cheap bow units. So these are the Winterfell levy bows. And these guys are, you know, your middle-ranged bowmen. Now, moving on. These are what are called men-at-arms. There's two variants of them. You've got the spear variant for the men-at-arms, again, with those Stark shields. And this is just a little bit heavier of a spear unit. And look, they've done a great job varying the weapons. Take a look at that guy's poleaxe there. Very ornamentally decorated. Same with the one right next to it. I'm just loving the work they've done on this mod. And here, of course, is the melee variant of the men-at-arms. So these are your middle tier infantry. Again, same shields here. These guys look a little bit more heavily armored. And these are probably the most common sword unit you will see brought to a battle. And then here, this for House Stark are the best units available. These are the guardsmen, the Winterfell guardsmen. Again, they have the shields. This is the spear unit, and you can see they've got these big heavy spears now. The quality of weapons looking better. You know, these guys have got the big shoulder plates, and this is your upper tier, more expensive units for House Stark. Here are the longbowmen, the guardsmen. And these guys are your longer range archers, and they look just like archers should. Again, House Stark is very lacking in color, just like in the actual show. You know, they are gray, and so that's what you're seeing in these units. And here, of course, is the guardsmen melee variant. These are your heavy swordsmen. So these guys are heavily armored. They're going to move a little bit more slow, but they're going to last a long time. And then in the back, we've got one more men-at-arms unit that is just kind of different. These are your pikemen. And it's pretty obvious there, holding the pikes. And then we've got outriders. These guys here, I believe they're outriders. Yep, this is a javelin cavalry unit, so good skirmisher cavalry. And then on the far left, we have your heavy cavalry. So this is kind of the standard cavalry unit for the Starks. You can see they again have those metal shields on their back. So that is what House Stark can bring to the field. And it's some lovely work on these character models. So next up, we're going to be taking a look at the units available to House Hornwood, and once again, it's the same type of units. You've got guardsmen and your levies. So this is going to be a common theme across all of these factions. This is a smaller house than House Stark, and so this is the only character they have available that is from their house that you can pick to be a general. And in the actual game, obviously, in multiplayer, you can mix and match from all these houses. They're grouped under the north for your army, so you could bring whoever you want. But that there is Lawrence Snow, and again, he's got this melee cavalry guard here. So we'll move right on to the levies, the Hornwood levies. Here's your crossbow unit. And, you know, keeping with the northern theme, these guys are, again, very gray. You can see the emblem of House Hornwood here for these javelin men. The Stark shields are just definitely, you know, Stark's a more major house, so to me, I like their shields a lot more. These guys here carrying the Hornwood shield of the smaller household. Then this is your Levy Spear variant, same deal as with the Starks. You can see these guys actually have different armor than what the Stark units had. So we've got some variation going on between these northern houses, and there's a lot of variation between the major northern houses. This is one of the smaller ones. Here's your melee variant, same as with the shields, just a swordsman unit. And then of course your cheap bow unit here. And then moving on, they do not have any men-at-arms. These guys go straight to guardsmen. So you've got the longbows once again. And here is your melee variant for the guardsmen. You can see they've got slightly different headgear than the levies. And a little bit more variation on the shields. And then there is your spear variant of the guardsmen. And I believe they do have pikes too. Yep, right here. Look at this guy's face. Oh, never mind. Oh, nope, they are opening their mouth. I don't know what they are confused by. We'll let them do that. And of course, here's your heavy cavalry for House Hornwood. So you can see there they are on the backs. They have got their house shield to pull out. That's a shock cavalry unit. And here are the outriders for them. Same deal as with the Starks. Next up, we are going to take a look at the Boltons. So this is, of course, well, first off, check it out. There's the Flayed Man banner, and you will notice that a lot throughout this army. And there is the man himself, Rose Bolton. You can see all of these guys have the Flayed Man right across their chest. And again, just doing amazing job with the you know, facial modeling of these units. But the other character available to them is, of course, Ramsay Bolton, and he looks just as punchable as he does as ever in the show. And there he is with his ears hoarse, making a cameo. Moving right on to the infantry. These are the Dreadfort levies. So here is your crossbow variant. Again, you guys can notice they've got the Flayed Man on their chest. We've got these guys, the javelins here, with their shields. And then here is the spear unit. And you guys can notice these models looking a lot more like they're wearing a black type leather armor than the other factions. And of course, we've got the melee variant here. So that's it for your cheap infantry. Moving on to the guardsmen. Here's your pikes, doing pikey things. We've got the longbows once again. And here are your heavier swordsmen. And then now we're going to look at, to me, what is the coolest unit. Check this out. These giant tower shields here with the Flayed Man hanging upon them, and these are your guardsmen spears. So I mean, just check that out. Let's go in on this unit. So these guys get to hide behind these giant tower shields that you guys saw if you have kept up with the TV show. And this unit is just extremely accurate to what you see in the show. And then of course they have their heavy cavalry. So these guys once again with their shields, and the outriders, the javelin cavalry. And there they are. So that is the Boltons. We got to give it up for this unit. I love those shields, the work they've done on these. I can imagine this unit here being quite good at resisting missiles. So another of the numerous factions available to the north are the Umbers. Here, one of the main characters is Small John Umber, And there he is with his guard. And you'll notice that the theme for these guys is just kind of this dark brown leather. So I'm going to start moving more quickly through all the units because they really are basically the same unit with different weapons. But there is the other character the Umbers have. Again, just the detail they've done recreating these faces of these actors from the show into the game is just amazing. This is John, the great John Umber, with his big white beard. But yeah, that's their guard units. For the levies here, these are the javelin men. You can see the Umber shield there. And here are the crossbow men. Then we have got the spears, and as is normal for the levy units, the spears and the sword units, which are right here, do not have shields. So there those guys are. And then of course you've got your cheaper bow units, and I'll give you all a close-up on one of these character models so you can see the work they put into them. And the North has a very similar color palette and a lot of factions. Some of the other ones, like the Lannisters and stuff, the armor setups for them are amazing. These are the longbows, obviously. So if you guys like this, you know, I will do more. I will show all the factions. The North is definitely the largest, so the other ones will not take me as long to do, and I can fit more of them in. But there's the spears, got your pikes, and of course the swordsmen here. That guy, you're gonna be our main model, these two men. And that pretty much sums it up for this faction. Of course, you've got your outriders, your javelin cavalry, and the heavy cavalry. And there they are with their shields upon their backs. Now we're taking a look at the Karstarks. There are two characters available for them. That smiley man right there. Oh, I guess he's not really smiling. But that's Harold Karstark with his guard. And to his left, or to the left from our perspective, is the great bearded Rickard Karstark. There that lovely man is, with the epic beard. He's basically Santa Claus with a sword, which would be an interesting combination. But on to the levies for the Karstarks. You can see it's just this kind of, again, leathery theme, but these guys have got their cool house emblem in a green emblem on their chest. I don't really know what to call that. I guess just cloth. I don't think it's a heavy armor. So that's them. Here are the shields that are common for these guys. And that's the javelin unit. And then we have got, of course, the spears. And I actually really do like this. I mean, looking at that detail, you can see the emblem faded onto the cloth that these men are wearing over their armor. And of course, down here is your melee variant. These guys, again, not shielded. So cheap swords, not shielded, but cost effective. And your cheap bow units, all sporting that emblem on their chest. Here's the guardsman pike unit, and the better bows, the long bows. But if you guys haven't picked up on it, I mean, the overall armored theme for the houses is pretty consistent, and that goes along with the show. You don't have big variations in what the men wear, so units don't look extremely different. You notice towards these bigger units, I mean, you have shields and a little bit more armor on them. Here are the heavy cavalry, and on their backs they've got those cool shields once again. And the outrider unit. So that is the Karstarks. So next up here, we have the Glovers, of course, led by, there the man is, Robert Glover. And he is the only character available for this house. You can see his guard unit here has, well, they've got this cool plate armor theme going on, and they've got their fist shields on the back, going strong for them. Moving on to their levies here, we've got your crossbowmen, again with this kind of plate armor theme going on. Here are the javelin men with a better look at those cool shields with the Glover fist. And here's your spear variant for the levies, looking rather fine. And then of course you've got your melee variant with the swords and the axes. And these guys are cool just because they look like they've got some armor on them. They actually have basically the same statistics as the other factions though. And here are the cheap levy bows. And then behind them are the much better guardsmen bows with some dead villagers at their feet. Yeah, that's just lovely. I'm on a siege map to show you guys this so that the enemy doesn't pester me, so that's just a cool little part of this map. I don't know why these people killed the villagers, but that's something new. Here we have the melee variant, again with the shields and the spears. So these are the guardsmen units, the heavier units, and of course your pikes. So Glover's whole theme is this plate armored look, and it continues with their cavalry. There's the heavy cav, or actually that there, no, these are your outriders, these are your javelins, and here are your heavy cavalry. So that are the models for House Glover. And finally we've got the Mormonts, and the only character available to them is this lady here, Mage Mormont. I'm probably butchering that, so I'll let you guys actually see. There she is. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, but knowing myself, chances are not good. You can see it looks like with them the theme is going to be this kind of black leather and plate, and as you will see that kind of sticks with it. So here's the javelin unit, and these are in the levy category with the Mormont bear on their shields. To their left we have the crossbows, and then to their right here are the spear units, the spear version of the levies. Again, we've got some, looks like some kind of animal fur, probably bear cloak, knowing the Mormonts, and that black leather and the plate. Oh, and check that out. I'm gonna try to get a better angle of that. The plate there has a bear on it. So that's just another little level of detail that this mod is doing so well on. Here's the swords and the bows. And then moving on to the guardsmen, we've got the longbow units. Again, that makes me happy seeing that there. It's just little things like that that make, you know, this mod team excellent working on this. And there's several factions. The character models for the main characters themselves are just super intense. Here's your swordsmen, similar with the spears here, and then of course the pikes that don't vary that much from faction to faction, although you guys can see, I mean, again, having the big plates there on their shoulders with the bear on it. And here is the heavy cavalry, the main cavalry for the Mormonts. And last but not least, the Outriders. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know that's different than watching a battle, but I just wanted to show off some of the awesome character models that are going into this. And the North is not only a huge faction, but the North is pretty devoid of color. When you look at some of the other factions in this game, which I will be willing to do videos like this for if you guys would like to see it, they have, I mean, the Lannisters and everything have awesome character models and colors, and this mod is just really well done. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if you'd like to see more, and I'm gonna try to find some people to do battles with for this mod to bring you some actual action rather than just looking at the character models. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time with more.